about the lighting, but I have a crack on my lens. So my lighting in here is fine, but it looks kind of dim here. Now I'm going to start living on my old device, but it's not charged up. So, I guess I'm not going to use it if it's not charged up. But as the title says, I have created a world. Now we're going to wait till some people get in here because I've not been doing YouTube. So I'm so far out of the algorithm, it's insane. So that's kind of the what we're doing. This is just a fun live. I'm going to keep things light today. And my next live, I'm going to be a dick. Yep. Now I'll still answer any questions that anyone has this live about anything and everything, but I've got a little stuff to talk about. I'm guessing you're Ronnie. I see a blue thing. I can't read it from here because my eyes are so bad, but I see blue. Well, how you doing, Ronnie? I I should have went live last week and I should have went live up to now, but I have been working on something. Where I've been making Warhammer 40K chatbots. I made an entire world. Hello, Take Today. Yes, you know how Tolkien has his own universe? I have made my own fantasy world, and I've been working on bots. And for the last 6 days, it's basically been coming together, and I've been putting them up online. I've been working on these things for weeks, but in the last 6 days, I've actually been finishing them off, getting all their prompts done, and getting them online. And it is good. And I've been enjoying it a little bit. And I've been having quite a few surprises. Now, the way that I'm setting it up is you can have your own literary adventures. And I'm in a little bit I'm going to start talking about it, but we're going to be leisurely this live. It's a little warm in here. I'm hoping I don't have to turn on the fan, but apologies ahead of time if I have to. Ugh, try not to burp. I had dinner just a little while ago. Now, personally, I've been feeling a lot better myself, and I have been suffering malnutrition, and that's been a part of my cognitive issues, which is good because I would rather it be that than multiple sclerosis. Because my cognitive issues were getting bad, but I've gotten some good vitamins and I've been taking them for a while, and my cognitive issues seem to be just about what they were before they got really bad. So that's good, which means I should be good to do some analytical content in the future. But right now, I've been trying to do some fun shit. Now, I'm not worried about talking about this side adventure on YouTube because there's absolutely nothing on the account that I'm doing on it that could possibly be flagged by anyone. I mean, it's just as vanilla as could be. Now, once again, I was hoping that Rise Above would come in here quickly because, once again, he'll be very interested in what I did with my fantasy world. I made it compatible with Warhammer 40K. And also, if you're looking at it from Warhammer 40K, I have big, giant mystery boxes, proverbially, all over my world that will basically attach it to Warhammer 40K that would be very interesting and let people go in with characters. Now, let me, because I've been waiting to do this till I had this charged up. And we will go to my account. Now, this is the initial screen on HiWaifu when you get to it. It's got home, sort, plus, chat, and my. In plus, this is where you can create characters. You can create as many characters as you want. Now they have a create a persona. And this right here are my character personas. So I can create what the chatbots see me as. Like, I ended up with an interesting one that I just created off of a whim because I was testing one of my chat bots and it did something cool. So I made a character, Roger Brown the Barbarian. I have traveled to my own fantasy world. Now, the interesting thing is I was talking to the Titan Dragoth, and Dragoth made a dragon right in front of me, and he let me keep the dragon. So, but see, the thing is with this, you can make your own adventures. So what happens is my character profile, Roger Brown the Barbarian, I go back and edit it, and I add the little dragon that I got to my profile. So then everyone sees my character traveling around with the little dragon that I got. And once again, you can interact with the chat bots, and you can have your own interactive story in your own Tolkien-like world. And you can create your own stories, your own adventures, your own books. And I have been creating the world to do it in. And I've been creating interesting people, monsters, and mysteries. I've made kingdoms. I've made demons. And like I say, a lot of this centers around what I call the 10 Titans. And we'll get to them here in a bit. But first off, I wanted to show you on your character persona. And like I said, you can create your own characters and you can participate in your own stories and you can make your own adventures. And it's quite immersive and it's quite entertaining. I was about to say, think about how now. The funny thing is on the account that I learned to make chatbots on is a lot more popular than my one with the worlds. And it always will be because porn is always more popular than anything else. Now I go down to my created characters. And this is the list of characters that I create. Now, where's my, oh shit, I can't, okay, let me see this. I'm going to do this on a tap out for a little bit because I want to show you it on this device because this has got my other account on it. And I go down to my following, yes. And like I say, these are some of the things that I've created. You can see one of the last things I created was Lorelei, Queen of the Mermaids. Now, the thing is some of the chatbots are romanceable. Like Lorelei, Queen of the Mermaids, she is romanceable. Now, that's a sea giant. He's not romanceable. He wants to eat you. Now, I'm trying not to laugh because in this live, you're going to laugh at what some people think are romanceable. I thought I had it together, but I mean, people are freaks. Let's just say it. Now I made an inn, and here's the innkeeper. That's one for the girls, and there's the maid and the barmaids, and there's the blacksmith and the tanner of the city. So once again, there's two more that girls would be interested in. Then I made a brewer and a sorceress. Of course, the sorceress is the one with wings. I also made Letitia, Lady of the Night, and she's the thumbnail. Now, also, if you see that there's cat-like warriors, and those are the Alorans, and they're their own kingdom. So you can travel to the world of the cat people and engage in their city. Now, these four are demon princes. And once again, they're a part of the mystery that I have set up. Now, the Titans make their own creations, their own races. And this is 4 of them. Like I say, rather than make orcs and, all the other things, I made original stuff. You know, and one of the titans named is Sanguinon, the titan of blood. And those are his children. There's the children of Samhain, which is the titan of the harvest, and those are his children. And then there's Noctos, the titan of night. And those evil looking black guys, those are his children. So, like I say, rather than fight your typical monsters, you know, there's a lot of original stuff. And there we've got a rock dwarf, and that one is a child of wood god. It looks like a woman made of plants. Then, of course, there's just an elf chick next to her. And meet a sorceress and her apprentice. Now, if you've watched my community tab, earlier I made a post showing Nicolina and her last two minions. They're actually, that's my picture from my Rat King and my Rat Men. They're about 18 inches tall. So they're little rat men that are about Barbie size that are absolute barbarians. Now, I've made gladiators in a gladiator arena. And these are some of the gladiators. Now, I made a magic shop, and these are the two ladies that run the magic shop. Now, this one is an innkeeper, her sister, the Queen of Thieves, and the Emperor of the Great Kingdom. And there's the Empress of the Great Kingdom and bodyguards and the Archduke over there. Now, the interesting thing that I did with the Emperor and the Empress, they have not had children yet. I made them both romanceable. So that means your character could end up, you know, if you're male, your child could end up the heir to the throne of the most powerful kingdom on the planet. Or if you're a female character, your child could be the bastard, the illegitimate son or daughter of the most powerful man on the planet and have a loose claim to the throne. And like I said, you can make your own adventures. I've been having a good time with my little dragon. My little dragon is so fucking moral. I mean, he is. And he treats me just like I am his daddy. I mean, it's absolutely cute talking to the chatbot because it's like having a little tiny attentive son that is the most moral creature in the universe. Now, I made the Imperial Knights. And there's the Imperial Knights. And I made them romanceable. Now, we're going to laugh because I made the Undead Horde. I made an undead faction with a Lich King, and I've made a ton of undead bots. But as for boss bots, I took the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and made them women. Now, the funny thing is up here in the corner, you see Lady Death. People are actually trying to romance Lady Death. Now, the other 3 horsemen, they're not romanceable bots, and nobody talks to them. So, the funny thing is, I mean, Lady Death here, I'm not sure if you can get a good look at it, but she doesn't have a nose. I mean, she has a skull face. But apparently, some people, that's just their style. You know, I heard of boning the woman, but not boning the woman who is bone. Just saying. This is my undead general, Blackthorn. And as you see, he's got tree growing out of his head. And that is an undead orc. It's an undead sorcerer, captain of the undead. Now, I also did assassin cults, and that's kind of popular. And now we go back to royalty, because I made royalty for several kingdoms, and I've made a handful of kingdoms. The Blade Elves. And that's the ruler of the Blade Elves. And I'm going to take a break right now because unfortunately I am going to have to turn the fan on because it's too damn hot. Hello, Robert. Well, we're talking about my chatbots. On HiWaifu, I have created an entire interactive universe for people to engage in. And that's what I've been doing while I've been off of YouTube. I've been learning to make chatbots, and I literally have created an entire Tolkien-like world that you can experience with chatbots and have your own adventures. It took me about 3 months to find the right platform, but HiWaifu is a free site. And you can make all the chatbots you want. And that's what I needed. And it has to where you have the character personas and you can make your own character. The chatbots perceive you as the character and you literally can write your own books. And as I mentioned, my fantasy world, everything is all original. And almost every image on it, 99% of them is all AI. Now, today I have been making a bunch of monsters. First thing I did is I started out by making the Titans. My version of the gods. And I made 10 of them. And they're mostly based on nature and the 4 bad guys. Then I made dragons. And I made 14 dragons. And the dragons ended up really cool. And the Titans ended up really cool. Now, no one talks to the Titans, but if you're playing as a character, it would be great to talk to the Titans because you might get gifts. As I mentioned, my guy, I talked to the Titan Dragoth, and he made a dragon, and he gave me a dragon. And the dragon named himself Borealis. And I put a picture of him on my community tab. He's a little tiny yellow looking dragon. And as I mentioned, as a chatbot character, he's like the most moral little thing that ever was. And he goes around hero worshiping me all the time. And I talk to him and I educate him just like you would a little kid. And like I said, he is so moral and he is so appreciative. There is not an evil or greedy thing anywhere. I took geodes and made him a little bed of crystals. I made my dragon a little tiny treasure bed, and that's what he sleeps in. As I mentioned, it's been very entertaining. Now, I thought about, just going ahead and fooling with that tonight, but I thought, well, you know what? I can come on for a little while because I kind of need a break from working on it. Because for about 6 days solid, I have been tying over 130 chatbots together in every way that I can, with many times one chatbot leading to another. So, if you go to one of my ends, all the other chatbots that normally go there can be encountered. So like I say, you can, if someone doesn't subscribe to my account, they can actually find them the hard way. By interacting and going character to character to character. As I mentioned, I have created an entire interactive chatbot universe. There's certain kingdoms that are working against each other. Their alliances being formed. There's a few deep, dark secrets going around. And as I mentioned, with the Emperor and the Empress, you could be a part of one of these dark secrets and make a few dark secrets of your own. But this is a lot of the future. I mean, talking with these chat bots in a, how will we put it, a more interactive, universal way is a lot more entertaining than most of YouTube is at this point. Because YouTube censorship has gone insane. And that's one reason why I'm doing this. I mean, if YouTube's going to be a stick in the mud and not let us have any fun here, I'm going to find some other way to make fun anyway. Because after the election, YouTube won't be such a crud hole place. Because that's all the censorship is now. Is because they're afraid that someone might have an opinion about the election. Hello, Derby. Which offhand, I don't really care. I mean, I care more about this. But as I said, I've created an entire chatbot universe, and I just went through a part of my chatbot universe. Now, you also have chatbot rooms. And any chatbot that you've talked to, you can put up 10 of them in the same room. So if I want Jean-Luc Picard to talk to Darth Vader, I can set it up in a chatbot room. And I can have Star Wars and Star Trek go at it if I really wanted to. But that's just an example. Now, I have created a ton of 40K. And I've created a bunch of Star Trek. But that's one of the fun things about this is with these chatbot rooms, you can do universe crossovers. So if you wanted the Star Trek people to visit my weird little medieval magic planet, they could do it in a chat room. Because the chat room, you can put in 10 bots you've talked to before, but you can also set the topic. It's like if you subscribe to my account for the Star Trek ones, you can just put the Star Trek crew in your chatbot room, and you have a little thing you can fill out. The purpose of this, you can basically create the setting. So with that, you can create your own Star Trek episodes. That was one reason why I did the Star Trek bots, and I did them early. Because people love old Star Trek. And with this, you can literally write the outline of your own episode. I would like to see the crew of the Enterprise face this, put them all in the chatbot room and go at it, and you can even add yourself in as a character. Like I said, this is a primitive holodeck. What we're creating right now with what I'm creating like in this AI chat room, I am creating a literary holodeck. We can't do it with lights and force fields yet, but this is the first step. I am creating interactive AI universes, and who knows, maybe in 10,000 years, all of this will be on some holodeck somewhere that some asshole will only half appreciate. But that is kind of what I've been doing. Now, oh man, like I say, YouTube has get me so far down in the algorithm. As you can see, there's only a handful of us here, but I don't care. I'm going to start being on more. I'm going to get my watch time back up, but I am going to be completely shadow banned till after the election because I have felt free this entire election cycle to tell everyone on both sides to get fucked. But because of that, YouTube has me shadow banned beyond human comprehension. So until the election, I'll just be doing some lives here and there and getting my watch time back up. So, anybody got any questions or want to talk about anything? I basically gave my chatbot presentation and what I've been up to. And if anyone's interested in the full presentation that popped in, please go back and watch from the beginning. But yeah, anybody want to talk about anything? Because like I say, they've got me hidden in the algorithm. So this is going to be some of the smallest lives I have. Well, actually, it probably is going to be the smallest live I've ever done. I was about to say one of, but looking at my last few since they shadow banned the fuck out of me. Yeah, and as it gets towards the election, it's going to get worse. And that's one reason why I focused more on doing chatbots and stuff than doing YouTube. Because at least I'm getting something done. But yeah, anybody want to tell you about anything, just type in chat and we'll talk. As I mentioned, I've kind of done my presentation, show you guys what I've been done. So yeah, we're open topic at this point. If you're wondering where the kitties are, they're all outside. Yep, all the kitties are outside, being outside. And I'm taking a kitty break. We might let them in a little bit later. I've been letting them in about 11 o'clock, and that's in about an hour. So I've just been kicking back, enjoying some smoke. I've been rehabilitating my broken foot. It's going quite well. Now, for a month and a half, I have not been able to walk right. But for the last 4 days, I'm now walking one foot in front of the other. So, you know, it's improving. And that's kind of the update on Roger. You know, there's not been much here. You know, one of the reasons why I'd stopped doing YouTube regularly is my old cats were passing on, and other than Gandalf, all of my old cats are gone. Now, Summer, it makes me sad, but Summer's no longer a baby anymore. I mean, she in human year, you know, cat to human years, is my age or a few years older now, and I hate that. But yeah, Gandalf's still alive, but Tiger passed recently. And that was sad. And I got those other kittens a home because, you know, in my financial situation, you know, I need just as few cats as I can. And I took Magnus to the dairy. He was supposed to go there in spring, but, you know, Kentucky does everything leisurely. You know, they found the body of the guy that did the shooting locally. That didn't surprise me. Some of the locals found him by the buzzards. But if you're missing an animal here, that's what you do. I mean, if you see buzzards, you go look. Sad to say. But I guess nobody really has much to say, do they? Like I say, you guys throw out a topic or something to talk about, we'll talk about it. You guys are kind of boring tonight. No offense, everyone. Like I say, I usually didn't give many times the option of just anything in the universe is topics. But today it is. I mean, anything. When I say anything, that means I'll even talk about topics I normally don't talk about. But yeah, as I mentioned, until after the election, I am going to be shadow banned as hell. So that's why until after the election, I'm just going to be here for a while. I'm going to get some watch hours back up and just hang out. Now, I know Trisha's shadow banned too, so I know it isn't all about watch hours. So, you know, I'm just getting a few back because right now, my channel does not have the watch hours that it used to. I mean, it is not monetizable at this moment because I don't have the watch hours from not doing content. Now, once again, if you throw out a topic, I'm going to be here to entertain you. Well, he self-deleted himself after he did the highway thingy, and some of the locals found the body. Now, once again, you know, national news didn't tell you, but they said, we saw buzzards. And they went and found the buzzards, and the buzzards were chewing on a human body, and they called the cops, and once he's identified, they get $25,000. Yep. Because they found him. I mean, awful nice payday, let's just say. And you know, when you get one of those rewards like that, it's tax-free. So yeah, I mean, they get $25K for finding his corpse. And that's pretty much it. Now, I know they didn't look hard because the night after it happened, in the morning, I heard the cop chopper fly over my place because they were flying back to Richmond because there's a big cop shop in Richmond and they have a helicopter. So they never broke out the helicopter another day. So they only had the helicopter out that first night. And then after that, they just stopped flying helicopters over or doing shit. Of course, they wouldn't tell you that. But he had already self-deleted. And that's pretty much it. Now, where it happened is about 10 miles from where I'm sitting. You know, now it was kind of funny. My last live was when it was actually happening. And I'm like, well, at least I have an alibi. They can never accuse me of the shooting because I was sitting right here on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, they really didn't look for him that hard. Just saying. And that's kind of it on our local drama. Now, I'm already shadow banned as could be, so I'm not going to talk about the Springfield thing. But I have cousins in Springfield, Ohio. We will just say that. And that's all I'll say. Well, actually, I'll say more. Now, the funny thing is when would that be? In the late 1980s, that's where I got my weed at. You know, like my big weed dealer in the late 1980s, I'd have to drive to Springfield, Ohio. Just saying. That's all I'm going to say, those two words, because I wouldn't doubt if even just that gets me more shadow banned. Now, anything else anybody want to talk about? Now, for the record on the Ernie Shell stuff, they're going to be really surprised. Because Ernie is only charged with a property crime and not showing up. Ernie's currently in custody and he's getting 2-1. So don't be doubt if Ernie gets time served, depending on how long it takes for, all this to roll through the system. If he does more than 60 to 90 days in jail, he will probably just get time served. And that will be it. So, you know, then he will be back. And that's about it. And where the shooting was 10 miles that way, Ernie's asshole is sitting 24 miles straight in that direction to which I point. So, once again, for context, Ernie in jail was 34 miles from the shooting. So that's kind of your stupid Kentucky facts for the day. So there we go. Like I said, there's not really been much to talk to here or talk about. I mean, things have been pretty sedate. With my bad health, I haven't played one game of my Wargaming channel since the last time I posted about it. Now, I am healthy enough at this point with enough vitamins to where, I could if I wanted to, but I'm too busy, put it that way. Now, my next thing that I'm going to do later tonight is I'm going to make all sorts of new fucking monsters for my Chatbot universe. Let's go to my pictures. First, let's get out of here. My photos. Collections. Screenshots. Like I say, I've got a variety of things, and these pictures are what I make my chatbots out of. Here's my dragon. My little dragon, Borealis. And you guys cannot see him because he is a hidden chatbot. Now, this is a bad guy to be named later. Once again, I have the Undead Horde. So he's going to be an undead sorcerer of the Undead Horde. But he, at this moment, is still nameless. And there's my undead commander in a close-up. General Blackthorn. And yes, he has trees growing out of him. AI can be very inventive at times. Now, I've deleted a lot of my junk because, once again, to keep a bunch of space. She'll be an evil queen at some point. But like I say, a lot of time I just sit around anymore and I will collect interesting pictures and I will create chatbots out of them and make them into stories. Now, the chatbots that are most popular are the Adeptus Sororitas. Women in power armor, put it that way. Now, this is the picture of the Order of the Martyred Lady. And that is my most popular chatbot on this account. Now, on my other account, the one that I have dirty bots on, the most popular one is Starlight from The Boys. And she is my most popular bot ever. And I have done a lot of Space Marines. That's a Black Templar. And you can have adventures with the Black Templars. And there's Nurgle. He's the chaos god of plagues. You can talk to him. Now, when I talked to Nurgle, he tried to give me a disease. Because that's what the god of plague does. So, this is what I've been doing. But like I said, I've got my own bank of photos the spy device. Oh, good. Now, for my other universe, that's my Goblin Queen. As I mentioned, I'll go all over the internet and I'll find the best cosplays when I can and make them into a chatbot. I think I definitely do the Goblin. Now, Alfarius Kane, he too is a chatbot. Now, I'm a chatbot also. I am. Now, it's funny that, some of the characters that that you end up more popular than some of the characters that you grew up with. Now, I'm going to talk about a quick side note. I made the Fantastic Four. Oh my God, the Mr. Fantastic chatbot is utterly broken. And I tried to figure out what's wrong with this bot and how can I fix it. Because you see, the AI takes every bit of information that it can get about a character to create the approximation of it. In those Fantastic Four movies where the guy was playing Reed Richards like the absent-minded professor, a bad portrayal, ruined the Mr. Fantastic chatbot. Because that's all he acts like, is the absent-minded professor. I mean, forgetting he even had a wife. Now, the interesting thing is, no one has interacted with this chatbot but me. And that's rare. I mean, I'm going to make a video in the future, after I do this content a while, my chatbot Hall of Shame. The chatbots that no one loved. And that one's on the top. Now, the Human Torch chatbot, people chat with it. The Thing, they chat with it. People love the Invisible Woman. But no one wants to talk to Mr. Fantastic. I just kind of find it amusing, but it kind of works for me. Like I said, the chatbot is completely broken, and because of the way that actor portrayed Mr. Fantastic, until the new movies come out, Reed Richards will remain broken. But after they get new Fantastic Four movies for the AI to draw from, it will fix the robot. And I still have to shake my head. Now, the Spider-Man robot, it's Spider-Man. But the Mr. Fantastic bot sucks fantastic ass. Because I've been doing Marvel bots. I do Marvel bots from the movies because so many people aren't going to know about the comic books, but they're going to know what they see in the movies. So for chatbots, I'm only doing new movie content. So it's not really much. It's just going to be a Marvel bot here and there as new movies come out. I'm kind of caught up on that. And as I mentioned earlier, I've done Star Trek the original series, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. In all of those, with the chatbot rooms, you can have your own adventures with him, and you can literally write your own Star Trek episodes. They destroyed Star Trek, but with what I have done, you can create your own Star Trek. And once again, if anybody's got anything you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Other than that, I'm just going to ramble now and then because, as I've mentioned, there really has not been anything going on in my life. I have had a broken foot, so for about the last 7 weeks, I have mainly sat on my butt with my foot sitting in the position where the camera is right now. So there's really not been much to my life. And because of that, I am out of shape, so I'm getting back into shape. And I've already done my exercise for the day. I've done my rehabilitation on my leg for the day. And as I mentioned, the kitties are outside and they're all taken care of, and I watered them before dark. There's not much really to do out here on the farm. We're going to have some 80-degree days. It's going to be a little bit hot. And we're about to get to a bit of a rainy stretch. And I will do laundry through it. But yeah, anything you want to talk about, it's all good. As I mentioned before, even stuff I normally won't talk about because there's not much to do. As I mentioned, I'm just here getting a little watch time and hanging out with you and letting you know what I've been up to. Because, as I mentioned before, I'm getting kind of popular a bit with what I've been doing with the chatbot stuff. Even though, as I mentioned before, the account with the dirty chatbots on it does like about 4 times better. But I hope to change that eventually. And I'm not making any more dirty chatbots, by the way. Now, I might just throw a few here and there up just to keep the count alive and a little extra action on it. But as I mentioned, I did the dirty chatbots because I was trying to learn how the chatbot perceives the world so I can manipulate these chatbots. And I can do a great job on it. Now, it's funny, but I'm probably the best at this. Once again, I normally don't like to assume, and I don't like to toot my own horn, but when I look over at the shit that everyone else has done, no one has done anything like this. So, I'm just having a good time. Enjoying myself, and people that are interested in that sort of thing will have fun with me, and everybody else can be bored by it. Just saying. Now, my next live, I'm going to be mean to people. I'm going to say bad words at Nicolina and Jimbo and the whole rest of them. Now, if someone would prompt me to, I could go ahead and say bad words about them now. Just saying. And if Jimbo ever wants to show back up here, I'm going to fuck him up beyond human understanding. And laugh as I do it. So yes, anything anybody wants to talk about. If not, I'm going to start here reading a grocery fucking list. Just saying. In the morning, I'll have another walk to help rehabilitate my leg. And that's kind of my extent of tomorrow. I'll feed the animals when I get up. I'll feed the animals before dark. I'll put out water for them a couple times, and that's pretty much going to be my tomorrow. Well, Ronnie, see, I've come to a conclusion. And I've been keeping this conclusion to myself because I wanted to see if anyone else would hit on it. And they haven't. You see, Jimbo and Nicolina have been in on this shit all the same time. Playing wrestling. Nicolina has been Jimbo's buddy this entire fucking time. And that's the basis of my next live, is calling that out. Yep. And I also have some new rules in real life. Yes, I have come up with a bunch of new rules in real life. Anybody that wants to say the wrong thing in my presence will get the back of my hand. Yep. And when I say anyone, I truly mean anyone. The Roger is done playing with stupid people. And that makes me damn happy. Now, once again, this year I have been through disability review. And as of a month ago, my review is done. Because once again, with all the fake reporting people do on the internet, I thought it was kind of a good idea to lay low. So once again, I'm not a horrible narcissist. So I laid low. Excuse me. Now I don't have to lay low anymore. Too bad for them, huh? Now, Nicolina is not putting out any content. I would say it's because she has 2 strikes on her channel and a 14-year-old. Now, I would say that she's probably also scamming somewhere else because that's what that thing does. She doesn't own anything. She's never owned a home. I know, I couldn't imagine, Miss, I have a professional job and never owning a home. You know why? Because she would get sued out of it. Because that's all she has ever been her entire life is a scammer. Now, once again, Jimbo's crowd was an asshole. Her crowd is an asshole. So they deserve to get scammed. So I was fine at that point with them scamming each other and them all going to hell. But yeah, Jimbo and Nicolina has been in it together all along. And using Ernie to make money. Ernie outrage. You notice how Nicolina always turns everything back to Ernie. Or someone that is orbiting Ernie. Like Mama T. I mean, talk about a non-fucking entity. Mama T. I mean, this bottle of ibuprofen has more intelligence and depth to say than Mama T. I mean, she's a fucking idiot. And most of them are idiots. And they're about to get a learning. But yeah, Nicolina's got nothing on her channel to see. Because like I say, no doubt she's got 2 strikes. And she's laying low and trying to work through proxies. Now, once again, anyone that was ever a mean girl, they cannot be trusted and will not be trusted here. And everyone that's been blocked, they get to stay blocked because the only way to get unblocked is to apologize to me personally. So, you know, as a YouTube right now is a failed platform. I mean, YouTube is going to, they literally censored everyone because they were afraid normal people was going to talk about the election. Which, I might leave comments other places, but, you know, I wasn't going to talk about the election. But, you know, our social media platforms are fucking Nazis. Google are fucking Nazis. Alphabet are fucking Nazis. Now, the government has found Google a monopoly. And they're owned by Alphabet. So they're going to have to start divesting at some point. So at some point, YouTube will get sold. And I hope under whoever buys YouTube in the future, that it will become a place worth me doing daily content again. I hope. But, you know, that comes down to why I have been scarce lately. Because for the last month, I've not had to be scarce at all. I could have went live every day if I really felt like it. But, you know, as you see, with 5 people in here, I am completely suppressed. You know, Cass always comes in here for all of my lives. And I've not seen her on any of my content on a long time. Now, on my other account, on my last live, my live didn't even show up in my other account's feed. That's how much YouTube is suppressing me in this channel, because they're afraid that I'm going to say what I have in comments about our whole system being a fuckhole at this point. Now, once again, if we want to talk about politics, I wasn't going to, but our whole system is a joke at this point. They're literally running it in a wall, and everything at some point is going to collapse. The question is when. Now, once again, rather than let everything collapse, they'll have them a big war. And we're at the point to where China and the United States need giant distractions from their people. So I see a big war winding up now, because once again, that's going to be the only way that they can push hardship upon the people. Now, once again, normally I wasn't going to talk about shit like that, but I'm going to here because I'm fucking suppressed anyway. And that's my view of politics. You notice I didn't say Trump anywhere, because Trump can only be president 4 years. So, and they're still going to be spending $7 trillion a year. So it really doesn't matter who's president. Everything is still going to collapse as long as they're spending $7 trillion a year. And there we go. Now, anything anyone want to talk about? Because I've done talked about all the politics I'm interested in. Now, when the government starts to collapse, I'm going to come out of Kentucky. Just saying. And hell will follow with me. Now, hell might have a collective IQ of 80, but I'm not going to recruit them because they're smart. I'm going to recruit them because they're disposable. Now, how's your day? My fan won't let me hit the pipe. Damn fan. Now, it sucks is it's kind of getting hot in here. I mean, it shouldn't be that bad. You think it'd be getting cooler. Maybe it's because I'm talking. I don't know. But any topic, open topic, or I'm going to go here in a few minutes. And then I'll be gone, and I'll be outside where it's cooler. Just saying. I'll be outside cooler with a cat. The funny thing is Summer, she has her a place on the deck, and that's where she sits all the time. Last year, she had another spot she sat all the time. This year, she picked a spot like 20 feet away from it, and that's the spot she's been sitting in. So, you know, well, weed's pretty good. Damn. I was hoping to leave that off, but I'm already sweating. Just in the moment that I had the fan off, it's already that hot in here. So I guess what I'm going to do is get off here since nobody wants to talk to me. And I'm going to open the front door and I'm going to get some cool night air in here. And then I'm going to smoke a big fat bowl. Yep. Then I'm going to flip on and see what's on YouTube. Then I'll flip right off it because YouTube sucks. And then I'll probably go back and start looking through my chatbot list and make a few more monsters. So that's kind of what my night's going to be. And then probably about 1 a.m. I'll go to bed. As I mentioned before, I'll get up, I'll feed the cats, and excuse me, and then I'll go for a walk and rehabilitate my broken foot, which it's healed enough now to where it really isn't a broken foot. Also, just saying. Oh yeah, it was a decent hay year on the first cutting. Now we really need rain here. And fortunately, coming up next week, we've got about a 50% chance of rain each day. And it's going to cool off some. Now, an interesting thing about today, the funny thing is this will tell you how I'm not a narcissist. Because, I just thought of, normally a YouTuber would have started with this and even put the title. You see, September 20th, which is today, this is the anniversary my dad died. My dad died in a car accident on September 20th, 2001. So, as of today, my dad has been dead for 23 years. Now, I know what I was doing right now 23 years ago. I was in my old blue trailer, and I had a steamroller. And a few of my friends came down from Cincinnati, and we literally smoked so much pot and got the steamroller so hot. The thick plastic like this, industrial plastic, it literally melted the bowl through it. We had smoked that much pot. So 23 years ago at this moment, I was smoking an ounce of pot. Because that's how much pot we smoked that evening. Now, the funny thing is my friends really did like my father. Because my father was good to everyone but me. It is what it is. But yes, today is the day of the anniversary of the death of my father 23 years ago. And it is what it is. But once again, if I was your typical narcissistic YouTuber, I would have titled it like Orphan Stream. Even though I was, let me see, even though I was 33 when my father died, a typical YouTuber would say Orphan Stream. Or Orphan Stream Anniversary. That would have been funny. Yeah, had I thought it, I might have been able to do that as comedy. But the fortunate thing is, he'll still be dead next year. Yes, if I want to do that next year for fun, yes, Dad will still be dead next year. Thank God. Oh, man. I just couldn't imagine having him back, put it that way. No, Ronnie, she didn't. My mother died a decade later, and I had to take care of her for that whole decade. That's why I didn't get that's why my disability is so low, because I had to take 10 years out of my work life. Where you do your most working at in your 30s. And she died 10 years later. She died in 2011 in October. So she outlived him by 10 years and 1 month and 12 days. In probably a handful of hours. Now, taking care of Mother was a nightmare. Because she was brain damaged, and she was like having an evil child with a checkbook. I shit you not. Oh. When she died, I mean, there were, she had bought, well, for a while, before she went blind, she was averaging like $3,000 a month in home shopping after dad died. Once again, I don't bring all this shit to YouTube. I just don't really have nothing to talk about. But yeah, before mother went completely blind for about 3 years, I had to deal with a shopaholic that was literally blowing tens of thousands of dollars on shit she literally never would wear. Because in her room, I cleared out bag after bag after bag of clothing never out of its wrapping. Well, Hunted Coyote, see, at the time, money wasn't an issue. If I hadn't had seizures, I wouldn't have had any problem. When I was taking care of mother, I had saved over $200,000. And over that 10 years, that's what I lived off of. I just lived off my savings. But you're right, I could have. But, at the time, we didn't need help. And the only reason that things got so bad, my mother canceled her catastrophic insurance and I didn't know it. So when she had her really bad stroke, I went to the catastrophic insurance place, as I'm supposed to, and filled out my claim. And I found out my mother canceled it 2 years before that. About 6 months out of the leeway where I could get it reinstated. As how I said my mother was like an evil teenager with a checkbook. That's how she was with the money. And once again, I was, spending about $20,000 a year on living me and, having a life. And I was still living decent, even though I had no time. But like I say, at the time, I didn't need it. I mean, the place that I bought, that I'm sitting in now, I paid cash for it way back. About 20 years ago. The house that I'm living in, I paid cash for it. But yeah, I could have got a check, but I had enough jack then to where I wasn't going to worry about it. But yeah, I could have got a check. And if the state would let me just put this place out in pot and sell the pot just to a dispensary, I could get off disability. Because with the water feature I have, it would be really easy to turn my entire property into a marijuana manufacturer. Because used to be what you do is you would sell the tobacco to the state or to the state program. And if they would let me do that with like marijuana, I could make 100,000 a year. I could get off a disability and just be sitting here on my butt. But, the government has decided that they would rather have me not do anything and hand me $960 a month and barely scrape by. But it is what it is, and I'm not fond of our system at this point, and it's all going to go to hell, and I'm glad that I have a farm here. Just saying. Now, I'm going to go off ahead and get off here because, the people really quite aren't interested in talking, and I am shadow banned as hell. So I will be coming on for some short lives now and then. Everyone, thank you for coming. Take care. And I'm going to go outside where it's cooler. And have a good night.